Hello and welcome back to the Authentic Creative Expanding Our Capacity to Feel Good. I'm so delighted because today I get to speak with Danielle Paige, who is an international consciousness guide and soul astrologer with nearly 2 decades of experience. She is the founder of the Stars Explained Astrology GPT, founder of Cosmic Body Collective Membership, Soul Link, Astrology Mystery School Levels 1 to 3, Sovereign CEO, and several other courses. Her new video series, Accessing Your Multidimensional Self, is currently streaming on UNIFYD TV. I hope that's how you say it, as well as her appearance on the Design Network's The Sabrina Soto Show. A self-taught astrologer who's been reading the stars for lifetimes, she continued her studies with some of the world's top astrologers. She then devoted herself to learning different types of healing to create her own style of spiritual medicine. By fusing astrology, energetic healing, and intuition, she's able to help her clients heal their wounds, clear old patterns, and help them come back home to their hearts. Danielle has been a keynote speaker at Jessica Zweig's 8 to 8 Breakthrough Summit, Suzanne Adams' Quantum Success Summit twice, and a guest speaker on mysticism and astrology at Scorpio's Mykonos Glossier headquarters in New York City's Soho House, the Assemblage, and the Good Fest. She has traveled to over 35 countries, bringing women together while leading retreats in Hawaii, Costa Rica, as well as 5 retreats on the Greek islands. Her work has been featured in Vogue Netherlands twice, Goop, Yahoo, Astrology.com, London Standard, Goss Magazine, The Numinous, Thought Catalog, J-Date, CBS Radio, and more. I'm really excited. Here she comes. So here she is, very luminous, and I'm so grateful. I'm so excited. Thank you for already making me feel at ease with your authenticity.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited for this conversation.
Thank you so much. So, there's a lot I want to learn about you because you're a very, very dynamic person. I mean, you've lived many, many lives in this
Yes.
lifetime, not to mention any of your past lives.
Yeah.
You've helped and served so many people in so many various ways and so many tools. I know one of the more recent tools is this AI tool that is so cool. I haven't tried it out yet. We can talk about that. But I just want to start with, where were you born? Where did you grow up? Did you live in all one place? Did you travel around as you were growing up? What was that like?
Yeah, I lived in one place really the whole time. Didn't really travel around at all until later on. Then I've traveled. I was pretty much in the system in the matrix until I was 30. Then I had my awakening, but I didn't know it was an awakening at the time. That's when my whole life changed at 30 years old in Los
Okay.
Angeles,
Okay,
outside
got
Los
it.
Angeles. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
where I've spent most of my life. So
Oh, nice.
love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Tell me what kind of a child you were. Did you have a connection to the cosmos? Did you have a connection to spirit, to any sort of the work that you're doing now? Did you have that sort of sense that you were going to be helping people in these ways?
Yeah, I really love this question, and it's a beautiful question. So thank you for asking, because I think
Hmm.
that when we understand someone's childhood, we really understand why they are the way they are today. When I was younger, all I can say is I felt that I was here for something very big and different, and not in an egotistical way, because I was too young to even have ego. So it wasn't about that. It was just I kept getting this impression that I was here to do something big and different. And then growing up, I wouldn't say I was the best in school. It was more that I was uninterested. So I didn't really want to try. I was bored. I couldn't draw. I wasn't a singer, not really a dancer, like a professional. I didn't really know what my talent was,
Did
right?
you like sports?
No, I did not
Yeah.
like sports. I did like gymnastics and
Okay.
I took a jazz and ballet, but I'm not going to do that professionally. It was more for fun, right, when I was
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
For many years, I actually felt that I just wasn't, I don't want to say special because that's not the word. This was my Saturn squaring my sun. If anyone knows astrology, when you're younger, it has a lot of negative energy in the sense of your mind thoughts and your patterns and your beliefs on yourself. I really didn't think I was good at anything. And
Hmm.
I didn't really have a good self-worth at all. That was a lot of my lesson to go through.
Did you
But I
feel
guess,
like you were eccentric and you didn't really fit in? You didn't really
yes, I
belong?
definitely felt that. And I would have dreams when I was little and I would sense things. But you have to
Yeah.
understand, we're the same age. And so back then, this wasn't really talked about. It's very different now. I didn't even have the awareness or consciousness to have a conversation about it. I would have a dream and it would come true. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And then I would just go back to my life because I didn't
Wow.
have the awareness. But
And
I
what
always
did your
felt,
parents do? Were they
yeah,
kind of straight and narrow?
yeah, very, very much in the system, very in the matrix. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah.
there wasn't a lot of validation for these
No.
premonitions that you
And
were
I didn't
having.
even really share with them because it wasn't something that you really shared.
It didn't feel like there
Um,
was space for it.
no, I didn't have the vocabulary. I didn't have the consciousness. I didn't have the awareness. It was more internal.
Got it.
My internal world was very big, very strong, was very sensitive. I always felt like I didn't fit in.
Yeah.
I thought there was something wrong with me. I started to see some things. I remember exactly my old bedroom in my old house where I was. I remember my third eye popped open and I started seeing things, but I didn't know what
Wow.
that was. And I got very scared. And I remember pulling the covers over my head and like, going like that and
Mm.
holding my breath. I eventually went to sleep. And after that, it was nothing because I was so scared that I
Yeah,
wouldn't
you just
allow
shut it
it.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't know what it was. And it was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
not going there. Right. I'm just not going there.
How
Yeah.
did the third eye open? You don't know. It was just like a random,
Well, it's part of my path. So it was
it
always
was part of your
there.
astrology that it was going to open at that time.
It's part of my soul. It's who my soul is. I always tell people we're all psychic, we're all intuitive. Yes, we have different degrees of it based on our consciousness, but I wouldn't allow it in. I shoved it down with fear, with all the emotions of it. And then nothing happened. A couple dreams here and there, some intuition. I would start to sense things. I didn't really think too much of it. And then when I was 30, I was in France with my boyfriend, and he dumped me in Paris on my 30th birthday. And it was so traumatic. And I was like, what is happening? We went back to Boston where I was living at the time. We talked about that before.
I feel like
And
I've heard this story before. This
yeah,
is so deja vu right now.
it's crazy. Yeah. And we go back to Boston. And I was living in his place and I was doing interior architecture, but I wasn't happy. I just knew that there was something else. I kept saying, I need to help people. But what does that mean? Do I become a
Mm.
doctor? Do I go back to school to become a psychologist? Because this is before online. Nobody was just doing random stuff that we do now.
Mhm.
I moved back home with my parents. I moved to California. I was 30. That was in 2009 when the economy tanked and there were no design jobs. So now there was no design job. I'm crying about my relationship. I have no money. I'm living with my parents who I haven't lived with since I was 18. And I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
I started having very vivid dreams that I would wake up in the
Mm.
morning and it would be about an hour that I had to pause and breathe and come back to myself because I don't know what happened, where I went. I was crying. It was so intense. I would be writing this down. And then I started seeing that what I saw was happening during the day. I felt like I was in the Twilight Zone. Then I
Were you
woke up.
astral traveling? Was that part of
Oh,
it?
I was astro traveling, downloading information, seeing into other timelines, and
Hmm.
then I wake up in the middle of the night. I see a spirit in front of me. Oh my gosh. I'm aware, I'm awake, I'm looking at this, I'm not sleeping, I know what's going on. Slowly it disintegrated because I got scared, not because the spirit was doing anything to me, but because my program, I'm in the matrix. I'm popping out of the box, but I don't really know what's happening. I didn't sleep with my lights off for 2 weeks. Spirit starts connecting with me. It's very subtle. It was like being impressed in my body, very strong guidance of what to do. They said to me, if you are scared, you're going to bring more of that in. Well, how the hell
Mm.
do I not be scared? Because I am scared. I
Uh,
love it. But then I didn't know what was going on.
and
And
this is so
so,
common for so many
yeah,
people that they
yeah,
have these types of
yeah,
experiences. They don't talk about it. It's not validated. It's so scary for them. They don't want to do any of the stuff that you and I do because of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, this was 2009. It wasn't as accepted as it is now. I was starting to gather the words of what's going on. I was starting to realize there's a world beyond this world. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's something big here. Spirit was guiding me to meditate. I'm like, I don't know what meditation is, but I sat down, I closed my eyes, and I would go into a deep meditation to the point where I started setting my alarm after an hour because I would just be
Mm.
out.
And were
I'm
you
not sleeping.
channeling during the
Oh, I
meditation?
was getting so
Channeling?
much information. I would then open my eyes, and then
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I would sit in front of the mirror and I would ask questions, and they would show me symbols. I mean, this was like,
Wow.
yeah, like
And
I popped
how old
open. I
were you,
popped
like 30
open. I was
something?
30. I was
Okay,
30.
30. Yeah.
I popped open at this point.
Mm-hmm.
This is many years of clearing out behavioral patterns, understanding what's going on, then finding astrology because they wanted me to work with astrology first because my soul has done this before. My mind is very strong that I needed something logical to like tie it all together.
Did you
So
have
it,
mentors helping you? Did you seek
no, not
out
in the
people? You were
beginning.
just all
No.
on your own.
God was my first teacher. Spirit was
Hmm.
my first teacher. There was nobody around. I would go to the library, the metaphysical section, which was that big, you know?
Yeah.
I would take a couple books, like Lisa Williams, who's a medium. I would read
Yes,
her
I know
book.
her. Yes.
Yeah. And then Rebecca Rosen, who's a medium, I would
Mhm.
read her book. And I'm like, oh my God, they're talking about things that I see. I didn't have an actual mentor that I would talk with until
Okay.
later on.
Okay.
But spirit guided me. Through that, I found astrology, and then it morphed into consciousness and energy. It's all of the highest good and the highest light always. It's really beautiful because I'm here to help humanity awaken their consciousness through this journey. It's a wild ride, let me tell you.
Bless your heart. So, do you consider yourself to be how they say star seed or galactic this?
We're all not from here, all of us. We're all not from here. My soul is not even from this galaxy. I don't have any names because I don't even think those names matter, to
We
be
don't need
honest.
to label it. Yeah.
No, no.
Okay. What is the thing that just irks you the most in this moment, or maybe over the course of time? Maybe these are two different answers that people perceive astrology to be that it's not.
I think people think it's, I like to call it basic bitch astrology.
Hmm.
When you go into like Cosmo
Yes.
magazine, when we were growing up, and we would all read who didn't do that,
Yeah.
right? That's not real astrology. And I understand that because that's how we were programmed and conditioned to believe that real astrology is such a beautiful tool to see how we're wired, the inner workings with our soul, to see what timing and cycles. To me, it's not about predictions. I'm not here to predict your every move. I don't know what you're going to do. And I've
Free
always
will.
said, I do see patterns. If all of a sudden I saw Uranus coming to
Mhm.
your sun, okay, we're going to talk about it. There's going to be some things that you're going through. How you deal with it, that's up to you. I can guide you, I can show you a higher octave. And if you have this awareness, maybe you're going to choose something differently. That's how I see astrology. It is a beautiful tool. And I also say when I teach my level 1 astrology mystery school, I come in there and I say, one, I'm not going to be your only teacher. And two, astrology is an amazing tool, but it's not everything.
Yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
an astrologer that's going to say it's everything. It is a beautiful tool that
Hmm.
has been used since eons and eons, centuries and centuries. But I'm not going to look at my chart every day and track every cycle because I also want to trust my soul and trust what's coming through. It's a backdrop to support me on my journey. But at the
Love
end of
it.
the day, it's you and God, you and your soul, you and whatever you connect with. That's so important.
Yeah, it's like don't outsource everything
Yeah.
to any
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
modality, any one
Yes.
tool. It's really all
Just
just
use it to support.
in service of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that so much. And I'm
Yeah.
curious because some people say there's this kind of astrology and there's that kind of astrology. Is there a certain particular one that you subscribe to?
Yeah, there's a lot of ego in the online astrology world. I will
Yes,
say that.
yes.
And I see it a lot. It's like Vedic is better, this is accurate, and this is accurate. And
Sure.
I, I've always said from the beginning, they're just tools. And at the end of the day, even with numerology and tarot, and we're all
Hmm.
going to kind of end up at the same place because it's also your channel that is coming through. You have to learn certain things, but I don't see one better than the other. They're all amazing. I don't do Vedic, but I think Vedic is amazing. That's cool, right? They're
Love
probably
it.
going to come around the same stuff that I come in just a different way. I do Western astrology, and now I'm mixing it with Kabbalistic astrology.
Oh,
And so it's just
okay.
really beautiful. Yeah.
Okay, love it.
Yeah.
What is your take on human design?
Oh, that's amazing. It's another tool. When I found out that I'm a mental projector and my entire body is open, I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. And that matches up with my Neptune in my first house because my body is so entirely sensitive. It's just a tool. Gene Keys is amazing as well. No,
Right, yes.
they're all so cool. In astrology, there's different house systems, and I use something called whole sign, and I switched to that 6 years into my career of doing this.
Okay.
I love this because I find that it aligns with gene keys and human design more than the
Interesting.
other system. I love it because I look at my gene keys, I look at my human design, and I look at whole signs. Now, these are really aligned and they're all going the same direction. So I really like that.
I love that you're
Yeah.
so holistic in your approach
Yeah.
because, like you said, there are people that get really dogmatic about their certain way of perceiving things. And I think that keeps you stuck, regardless of what it is. I practiced Buddhism for 16 years, and there's certain
Yeah.
people that in my specific Buddhist practice that are like, this is the only way. And if you do Akashic record reading, then that's like somehow wrong. And, or, it's
Exactly.
just like, no, it's all coming to the same place. Truth
Yeah.
is truth is truth is truth. And if it's truth, it'll resonate and it'll have a certain vibration and you'll
Right.
know that it's true in your body.
Agree with you. We have different doorways. What's going to resonate with me might not resonate with you or might
Yes.
not resonate with someone else. But at the end of the day, it's all about our human journey of evolution, our soul's evolutionary journey. And so all these tools, whether it's Buddhism, whether it's
Mhm.
astrology, whether it's human design, or whether it's another religion, they're just doorways. So, what doorway is going to get you closer to God and your soul? The people that are like, this is the only way, bless their heart, because I know that they don't understand the universe, because the universe is not black and white. I always say the universe is 50 million trillion gazillion shades of gray. And there's
Mm.
no one way. When I tell people, yeah, I do healing work, everyone assumes it's Reiki because that's what they know. There are so many ways that you can heal, you can run energy through. It's not just one way. And that's the thing. They're all beautiful. They're all tools. And anyone who thinks there's one way, I know that you don't understand the universe because you're multidimensional in yourself. We're multidimensional beings.
Yeah.
There's not one way of doing something.
Yeah, there's so much variation. I started Reiki back when people didn't know what Reiki was,
Yeah.
and they used to think I was talking about theta healing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't really matter what you call it. We're
Yeah.
all kind of pointing to the same thing,
Hmm.
which is unconditional love, life
Yes.
force energy.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
So beautiful.
so interesting. I'm curious about your way of working with people. Do you prefer in this moment in time doing one-on-ones with people? Do you prefer working in groups? Do you have a lot of programs that you do?
Yeah.
What is the thing that's lighting you up the most in this moment?
That's a really good question because I have to tell you, so I lost everything in the fire last year.
Yeah.
I'm very real. I keep it real. I share, I'm not here to pretend. About 3 months after that, I realized, okay, wow, it wasn't just my furniture and my valuables and my clothes. I was going through another dark night. It was the death of me. So I've had to go through that. And I feel like I'm just coming out the other end. So everything that I do that I love my courses, I love my membership, I love my moon circles that I do. But also, what is emerging is a new version of me that I don't know yet. So I'm getting to meet this new version. And it's very exciting because I realized after the fire, there was nothing wrong with my business, but I was changing internally, that something new was forming in the creation. I'm excited about meeting this new version of myself and the new ideas that are going to come through because it's been a process after the fire. I went through a death portal and I'm coming out. And this is not my first rodeo. I'm like, here we go again,
I feel like
learning.
people are still recovering from COVID. And then my dad was one of the people who lost everything in the fires as well. He was
Oh, I'm so
in the
sorry.
Pacific Palisades. So I
Same.
really felt like I went through that with you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, it
Not
was
the
a
same.
lot.
Obviously, I wasn't there, but
Yeah.
emotionally, I felt
Yeah.
very, very
Hmm.
much in it with you.
Yeah.
So, gosh, yeah, the Phoenix Rising is like an
So I'm
opportunity, just
excited.
everything burned away. It is exciting.
Everything had to burn away and I couldn't resist it. I moved in with my parents because I didn't have a house anymore and I didn't want to rush out to get something so I could heal my nervous system and process the trauma.
Yeah.
Even though I got it on a spiritual mental level, my physical body needed to process lots of trauma.
Yeah.
I went through a dark night and I sat and I allowed myself to just be in the void. I'm so excited to find out myself what new programs.
I'm excited. I've already shared your Instagram so people can
Thank
follow
you.
along and figure out where they want to drop in with you and as you're
Beautiful.
reinventing yourself. So one of the things I asked and you said you were willing to do was to show people how you
Oh.
would do not a full reading, obviously, just a little mini of what it's like.
Okay, I have your chart here. When I do sessions, they're an hour and a half to 2 hours, VIP deep dive, and we go deep and we're in privacy because there's like things that could come up, right? First thing I noticed about your chart is most of your planets are below the horizon. So that actually makes someone that it's not shy, it's actually private. So you might share and do stuff online, but there is a privacy to you because it's all under the horizon. So that's just really interesting because your sun and your moon are there as well as most of your other planets. So there is this depth and this privacy to you. It's interesting because sometimes I see it flipped, sometimes I see it here, sometimes it's spread out. So I'm just seeing the configuration. Okay, so let's dive in. You are a Cancer rising, your sun is in Virgo, and then your moon is in Libra.
Right.
Yeah, you were born under a new moon. So you're a new moon baby. And new moon babies are, you guys are fun. A new moon is very much like you have to try things, you have to jump in. If someone's like, don't touch it, it's hot, you're like, no, I need to touch it to find out how hot it is. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you're here to initiate, you're here to start things and take action and to really figure it out on your own. That doesn't mean you can't have help, but you need to touch it. You're navigating with eyes wide open, really curious, here to explore, here to test it out. You're here for this adventure. That's kind of how you navigate. That's interesting because we're born the same year. So your north node is in Virgo along with your sun and your Saturn. That means your south node is in Pisces. This nodal axis is so important. Everyone likes to see, oh, what's your rising sign, what's your sun, and that all that's important. But I need to see where your soul came from, which is the south node, and where your soul is moving towards. Your south node in your chart is your deeply ingrained behavioral patterns. This is almost like having another sun sign. You don't have two sun signs, but our south node, there's so much energy of that. We have gifts with it, we have talents with it.
Mm-hmm.
But we also, if we stay in this energy, we don't grow. The whole point is to take the positive, take the good, take the gifts, and move this over to the north node. Now, the north node in the chart is your soul's evolutionary journey. One of the main reasons why your soul said, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, I'm going to step into this energy, and I'm going to really master this in this lifetime. There's no cutoff. It's not like we master at a certain age. This is the direction that we go. We toggle back and forth, and we start to move towards our north node. You have a leg up from the universe because a lot of people have their north node where they don't have their sun sign or maybe other planets. You have a north node in Virgo. So your soul said, I'm going to give you a leg up with your south node in Pisces. Super intuitive, super psychic. You sense everything. If anything, you take everything in. This is the axis that is like you're mining for gold. So let's imagine we're in the old times and you're finding gold, the gold rush, and you take the bucket and you pull up. Pisces would be like, oh my God, the rocks are so beautiful. The water and the dirt, it's so beautiful. It's meaningful. And the gold is there, but don't worry about the gold because I want to take everything else. Pisces sees beauty in everything, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, that drains us a little bit. Your North Node in Virgo is saying discernment. I want to be clear. I don't need the rocks. I don't need the dirt. We're going to leave it for the earth. I'm only going to take the gold, and I'm only going to take the gold if I know it's going to help me. Does that make sense?
Total sense.
Yeah.
There's a plaque on my wall that says there is gold in every
Oh,
piece of your story.
I love this. That's so funny. That's beautiful. Pisces South Node is so psychic, it's so intuitive. You see the good in people. What you have to be careful at is, are they actually showing up for that? Because you might like, oh, like you lost your house. Like, here, let me give you my house. And now I'm out of the house. You have to become like you're not the martyr. Pisces can
Mm-hmm.
become the strong martyr because they see through the veil, which is beautiful. But just because you know that their soul is strong and powerful doesn't mean that their human chose that right now. We have to not rescue with all that Pisces energy because you can rescue because you know what the potential is, you know where they're going, you know their soul contract, but doesn't mean that they're there. I'm sure there were lessons while you were growing up about that because there's no one that has Pisces energy that doesn't get away from that.
I mean, there's lessons as of a month ago about
Yes,
that.
yes,
Yeah.
always because you see and feel so much, but it needs discernment. Now, the fact that your sun sign is there, your north node is in Virgo, and your Saturn is in Virgo. Saturn is where we promise the universe where we're going to learn. This is our master contract. We're not going to get out of it. So there is a lot with voice, with sharing, with speaking, with discernment. You are supposed to share your voice with the world. Trust yourself that you have enough to say because sometimes when we have Saturn in the third house, when we're younger, we either don't maybe know how to say it or it doesn't come out right, or we think we're not smart enough, or we think we're not good enough, right? There's this doubt there with Saturn, and it's very
Mm-hmm.
strong. It's actually what I brought up in the beginning before I even looked at your chart. Remember, I said I doubted myself a lot because my sun was squaring Saturn. Well, you have Saturn conjunct your sun. So when you were younger, there might have been some doubt in yourself. But as we get older, Saturn loosens its grip, and Saturn is like, I am your teacher. Let's work together. I'm going to make you royalty. I'm going to help you walk to the throne instead of making you feel like you're not good enough. I'm going to get you there because it's going to be hard work and discipline. I like this for you because someone that has South Node in Pisces without that strong Saturn conjunct the sun could almost feel like they're just lost and floating around, but you have more direction and more grounding than some people with South Node in Pisces.
It's beautiful
Yeah.
listening to you.
Yeah. Oh, there's so much. I'm like, we could, there's so much to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a song of your soul. And so we go around the chart. I never know where it's going to take me. And I'm just listening and I'm just reading and I'm just sensing this. And we start to get the story of your soul, right? It's really beautiful. Then we start putting things together. So
Yes.
really beautiful.
So true about the discernment piece and about mining for the gold and only
Yeah.
wanting the pieces of gold and being exacting. The way that I edit this podcast, that's what I do. I don't want any of the ands or the buts or the likes. I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I just want the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a strong, I don't know how much you want to do. There's so much in the chart. There's a strong flavor of, when I say past life, we both know past life, parallel life, happening now, happening. Who knows what this is happening? You have Gemini in the past on your 12th house, and that signifies to me even before I mentioned the speaking here, you lost your voice in the last lifetime. You were cut
Mm,
off. You weren't allowed to share. And the
yeah.
fact that you have your Mercury in Leo and you have your North Node in the third house, which is the house of communication, you have to share your voice. It is so important. I don't know if you speak on stages but this is writing, speaking, sharing. You mean, obviously you have a podcast that's so good for you. Also, I don't know if you do solo podcasts too, but that would be really good for you too.
Yes, I do solo
Good,
podcasts. I've been doing
good,
this for almost 4 years. I love it so much.
good.
I was
Yes.
an actor my whole life, by the way.
Oh, yeah, with your voice. Okay, good.
Professional actor my
Yeah.
whole life.
I will say a lot of people with strong Pisces energy or Neptune on the MC or AC do acting because you have the ability to be a chameleon. You're like, okay, they need a character of like this or that. You can just channel it in a second because you just downloaded it into you. So people
Yeah.
that are that open and sensitive actually make the best actors and actresses.
Yeah. Well, thank
Yeah.
you. I don't want to
Yeah.
overextend my gift here of you doing this for me. I so appreciate it.
It's beautiful. Let's just talk about your rising sign. The rising sign is how you navigate this earth plane. Think of the rising sign as a car that you're driving, and you are a Cancer rising. You feel the room, your body feels it before your mind does. You have a strong mind, a lot of air in your chart in Libra, but your body tells you everything. Safety is incredibly important for you,
Mhm.
especially because your chart ruler is your moon in the fourth house. So safety, security, family, super, super important. Did you have an intense childhood with Pluto in the fourth house?
Yes. One thing I want to say is I intuitively chose a breathwork audio to breathe to this morning that was called Recovering a Sense of Safety. It was from when the fires had just happened that I did a
Mm,
free class for people. So
yeah.
that's interesting that I chose
Mm,
that breathwork this morning. You're talking about
yeah.
safety and the importance of safety.
Uh,
That is one of my main passions is to create safety for others.
yeah.
And then the dramatic childhood, 100 times yes.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 17 years. If they have Pluto in the fourth house, it would feel like they're like lying or not telling me something. If they're like, oh no, my childhood was like so picture perfect and like so beautiful, everything was fine. Pluto in the fourth house is intense, but your soul chose that because that was how you're really going to learn and really overcome. And that's where you were overpowered in the past. And so that's where a lot of our growth comes from.
Mm,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for
You're
this.
welcome. You're welcome. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to hear more. And also, I just want to ask you more questions and
Yeah.
get to
Let's
know
get
you
into it.
better. When you read someone's chart, like you were just starting to do with me, what's the first thing that you feel in your body? What does that sensation usually tell you?
Everyone's different. I like to start sometimes with the nodal axis, but sometimes it's different. I'll look at the chart, I'll run transits before. I've been doing this long enough that it's more important for me. Yes, get the transits. I need to see timing of dates and stuff, but I just go. I
It
just had a
flows
client.
on the word as you start
Oh,
speaking.
it
I can
flows
tell it
because then
just
I'm
flows on the
tapping
word.
into the energy of the person. My last client we just had, I was talking and all of a sudden I stopped and I'm like, I have to see because her energy and nothing against her, but listen, we're all my energy sometimes is all over the place. Like we're all working on navigating our energy. That's why we all need teachers. But
Yeah.
in the moment, I was seeing how her energy was moving through her body and then it just kept getting stuck in her throat. And then we saw a couple of things, and then she's like, yeah, I used to sing and I don't anymore. I was like, girl, like you need to sing. It was stuck there and it was like her energy just needed to breathe. It was so trapped. I didn't know we were going to go into her energy body, but we did. And sometimes we do a healing. So it just all depends. I trust that the divine spirit source, your guides, my guides, we're just going to navigate.
Yeah,
Really.
it also sounds like she would have benefited or she would benefit from some primal sounding as
Yeah.
well. That would be,
Sound, breath, movement. Yes.
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 Okay. For someone who feels stuck in the same loop,
Yeah.
what do you look for first? Like a chart signature, an energetic imprint, a nervous system pattern?
When someone's stuck, I actually like to listen to them and talk to them. And then I pick up on stuff like last night I was in a women's circle and it was really beautiful. We were all sharing, and I would never share what anyone said because it was all
Sure.
private. But I will say that every time someone was talking, it was hard for me because I was picking up on the root problem. I knew this girl, she was going to, I knew it was her dad, and I knew that she had to take care of him. And I knew, and then 5 minutes in, she then starts talking about her dad and da, da, da. And I was like, oh my God, I'm just getting information. It comes through a million different ways. I was talking with a friend who I haven't talked to since before the fire. We were chatting on Instagram DM, And her brother died a long time ago, and I channeled him many years ago. We were just catching up, and she was like, "Oh, I wish you could talk to my brother." And then all of a sudden, her brother starts coming through. The next day, her brother's still giving me information. Then I'm in the shower, and I was like, "Okay, I have to tell you this." She's like, "Oh my God, I was just talking to my mom about that. He wants to make sure your new boyfriend is good." He's like, "My mom was just talking about." It was so much information. I never know
Wow.
how they're going to use me, but I love it so much that I can help people. Do I have every answer? No. Am I going to solve everyone's problem? Absolutely not. I'm not here to solve everyone's problem. I got my own problems, right? We all have stuff, but we all have patterns. Going back to what you asked, we all have patterns I have patterns, you have patterns, we all have patterns. I can sense what's going on, and they're really bringing me to the root. And then we have to start clearing it because it's childhood, it's subconscious beliefs. When I was back living with my parents, I literally sat there at one point, I was laughing to myself because I'm like, oh my God, I see the loop that I did as a child. I see myself still doing it with my parents right now. I started writing everything down. And I was like, let me navigate this. I see how other people are in loops. We're all in loops because of childhood stuff. So it's not about blame, but it's creating a new energy field, creating safety in our nervous system, and believing that there's a new way that's possible. I don't think there's one way
Mm.
to do that. I think everyone has a different tool.
Hmm.
And people, when they come to me, and then when they're done, they come to someone else. We just meet different teachers along our journey. They're just going to help us. Maybe my journey is to get someone from A to B, and then someone else from X to Z, and then yours is in the middle. We're all here to help each other.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I'm curious when you said sometimes you're in the shower and then you've already had that client, but you've closed it out, but then you continue to get the information. How are you dealing with that? Is that something that you say you enjoy it, but do you need to close those doors sometimes? Because that's
This
what I
was,
teach my students. I'm like, you got to
yeah.
close the door when you're done with the session.
This
Like,
was different. This wasn't the client. This was my friend, and her brother, who had passed away, still had messages. So he felt safe. That
yeah.
one, yeah, it was hard because I was in the shower and I had to come out and I had to text her and tell her all this stuff.
Hmm.
But I also think he was helping me because he was showing me some new ways of getting information. So
Wow.
I told her that he's really helping me as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. I was sitting in circle last night and I'm getting information, and then I wanted to say something and I'm like, it's not my place. I'm not here to, I didn't say anything because people just want to talk. It's not about me telling them what's wrong. They just are here to talk. It was uncomfortable though because I'm getting information. So when I get information, things speed up. I was getting a little antsy. You have to have discernment because just because you get
Yeah.
information doesn't mean you need to share it with people.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that's a really
Yes.
big thing. She didn't ask for permission. She was just sharing her stuff, and bless her. Then I shared my stuff. So,
You said
it's
you're a
just like
projector,
a mental projector. Yeah.
right? So you have to wait for the invitation.
Yeah, and that's another one I've had to learn too. But even besides that, even if you're a generator, we all need discernment that just because we get the information doesn't mean people are ready to hear it or
So
want
true.
to hear it. And so
Right.
we have
They'll
to
get mad at
really,
you if you share the truth with them and
exactly,
they're not asking
exactly.
for
And
it.
it's also, it might not be to their benefit. Sometimes we
Mm.
like to share because my ego just picked this up, but is this to their benefit right now? And she didn't come to me. She's just in a circle sharing. That one was a strong one. I just knew it was her dad, but it's not for me to tell her. It's not.
Gosh, yeah, it's incredible to be the type of person that you are, to have the gifts that you have, and to have to use that discernment so often. It's a
I think
blessing and
that's
a
important.
blessing. It's
I think
also
that's important
challenging,
and it's
right?
responsible. And that's what
Yes.
I teach people. Even when we got to level 3 of astrology, I was like, you have a gift now. You now can see into people's souls. So I want you to use this with light, with love. People have come to me and be like, an astrologer told me I'm never going to get married. I'm never going to have a baby. And I was
Ugh.
like, whoa, like that's not the case with anything. Like there's
Hmm.
so many possibilities.
Hmm.
So I would never say that to anyone.
Mm.
If anyone's listening and you're healers, we all need to be responsible in the way we deliver information.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
people have said stuff to me in the past, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Didn't ask you for that.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, no, I think that's really important, the way in which we share
yeah,
information. I've been
yeah,
learning that lesson my whole life,
yeah,
is the way in which I share something and the timing
yeah.
in which I share something.
Yes, yes.
In your work, what's the difference between knowing your chart and being able to live it, and what helps people cross that bridge?
Well, I love that question. And when I'm going through the chart, and especially with the nodal axis, I tell them, before I tell you this, what your nodal axis is, I doubt that you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm so shocked. You're going to get it because you're aware of who you are. That's one level. That's the mental level. And that's great. Let's just have awareness of what we're doing and how we're acting, like what our instinctual behaviors are. Then the next level is living it,
Hmm.
embodying it. I know my North Node. I'm an astrologer. But just because I know it doesn't mean I was completely in it. This is a journey. More in it now than I was 10 years ago? Absolutely. Do I still have work to do? Absolutely. So It's this lived experience, and that's what my membership is really about. It's called Cosmic Body Collective, and it's me giving information almost daily, little tidbits of information to move people on the journey. Everyone talks about these big quantum leaps, but how do these big quantum leaps happen? They happen by the habits we choose every single day and what we do, these little things, how we show up every day. Not every day is going to be happy, and it's okay. If you're having a sad day, how do you use your tools to navigate it so you don't spiral and make it 2 weeks instead of 2 days? You
Yeah,
know, I used to do that
totally.
when I was young. I would go in a spiral, and this was weeks when it could have just been an hour. So
Yeah, I think
I
that's
had to
part of
learn
being
that.
young, though, is like
Yeah.
kind of
And
almost
sensitive and open.
enjoying those kind of moments of like, oh, I'm so modeling and I feel it
Yeah.
and I'm in it. And like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you get older, you're like, I don't have time for this. I
No,
gotta
it's
move
just like, but
forward.
you also don't need to. I was stuck in loops that I didn't know that I was even in because I didn't have tools and I didn't have awareness. So
Yeah.
the first thing is the mental level. And the next thing is that's why the astrology I do is all about embodiment. It's like, let's live this, let's be it, let's move this and activate this through our life. It takes time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's
Yeah.
a lifelong process, like you're
Oh,
saying.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. What's your favorite way to help someone access their multidimensional self that is still grounded and embodied, not just cosmic?
Mm. I want to ask, what are you doing every day? How are you living your life? I'm very much about lifestyle. Lifestyle to me is so important because that dictates everything. So I want to know, first of all, are you miserable in your marriage? Are you going to a job that you hate? Are you eating junk food that you know is not helping you? Because listen, I was addicted to sugar when I was younger, and as I became more spiritual, I just can't tolerate it anymore. So I know I was definitely addicted to sugar, and I know what it does to my gut. I know what it does to my mind. So to me, really practical is I want to know your day to day. I want to walk through what does your life look like? How are you supporting yourself or not? And if not, let's make changes so that you can support yourself. I have
Yeah.
a son in the sixth house. It's a lot of Virgo energy, even though I'm a Taurus. The sixth house is day to day. Lifestyle to me is so important. Even dating. If our lifestyles are not aligned, I'm out. I just can't have someone come in here and be blasting music and be super loud and be eating junk food. That's just not going to work. Even if you're my soulmate, God bless you. We can be friends, but we're not living together. I know what I need. I need peace and tranquility. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's like habit stacking is easier for me at night. I can do all
Mhm.
these little rituals that are great.
Yeah.
But and then sometimes I find in the morning it's harder to be so disciplined with that. I like to have a slow morning. I like to take my
Yeah.
time. Now that I'm in this perimenopausal space, I like to sleep as much as I can sleep, especially in the winter. Do you
Yeah.
find seasonal appropriate behaviors?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what we're eating and the food, the best thing is local food by season. I love cucumbers. And the other day I was eating, and I'm like, why am I eating cucumbers in the middle of winter? This is not helping. It's cold in my gut. And I'm like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, okay, I need to not buy cucumbers right now. It's not aligned. So, yes, food, what we're doing, seasonal, everything. And like last night when I went to this event, I was so happy to go, but part of me before I was like, oh my God, I can just stay in my cozy pajamas. And I'm like, oh my God, it's winter. It's like in the middle of, even though it's California, it's still in the middle of winter. It's hard. In the summer, we're out and about and doing all the things.
Yeah. So here's a personal thing I saw on your Instagram that you traveled so much recently,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that was in 2016. I just showed
Oh,
like
those
all
are
the
two.
pictures.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was traveling a lot. And that was just part of my soul's plan. It was some of the best times of my life.
Looked amazing.
I was just talking with my best friend. I travel with her, and we were talking this morning, and I'm like, that brought me back. And I'm like, I miss those times. She's a mental projector too. So what we do is we mental project on each other. I'll share, and she's like,
Hash
okay,
it
I feel like
out.
I
Yeah.
feel like what you're saying is this. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So she's like, I think you're just missing the freedom and simplicity. And I'm like, yes. And so we were just having the whole conversation this morning.
I'm curious with all that traveling and you're longing for it again. What do you feel like was the ultimate? You had so many Egypt,
Yeah.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
Is there a moment you can tap into now where you're just like, this is everything? What, where were you?
Egypt, when I was there, it was really powerful. People that were following me online, they saw me afterwards and they're like, you came back a different person. Your gifts just popped off. And I didn't know too much about alien stuff before. I was seeing things and I'm like, oh my God. I had to ask the teacher, is this the thing? Because I didn't know at the time. He's like, oh yeah, this is X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, oh yeah, I saw them. It just popped me off galactically in other ways.
Wow.
That was an absolute game changer for my soul.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like everyone who goes to Egypt has that experience, but this was
Hmm.
2016. So like
It was
I didn't
before
really
it got
know.
popular, yeah.
Yeah, my soul told me to go. And then I found this teacher that was going, and it was a spiritual journey for 2 weeks. I told my best friend, listen, I'm going to Egypt. I want you to come with me. I know that you'd probably have to quit your job, but I think you should do that. She was not liking her job, so she ended up quitting.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. I love your audacity.
Thank you.
So
I like to
courageous.
have fun and I like to go for it.
If we were guiding, say you and I were creating a circle and I'm doing breath work and Reiki on people and you're guiding people with astrology, what would you want them to come away with? What would be the thing that you would want them to experience at the end of it, to
I
know?
want people to know that, excuse my language, but you're never fucked because I hear this so often like, oh my God, I have this worst aspect in my chart or this, I'm going through this
Mm.
transit. You're never fucked. Again, part of my language. There are sometimes harder transits. I went through a Pluto opposing my moon that literally rips you open. My house burned down. Not to say that everyone that goes through that's going to happen, but people die in their life when that happens. So there are harder transits, but what it made me and forged me, you have to go through it. So I want people to feel empowered and to also know that everything is transitory. So that was a hard transit, but I knew as an astrologer, this is not forever. This is going to be from this period, and I have to face certain things that don't feel good. So let me just face it head on. I had the awareness to do that and the tools. So there's nothing that you can't navigate. And in Kabbalistic astrology, they teach you can rise above the stars. And I really believe that based on our free will and our consciousness, what we choose, it doesn't mean you're not going to go through that transit, but if you choose different things, it can navigate differently. There are certain things that we can't get out of, like people's deaths, they're contracted. It could be someone in our family. There's certain things that we have to go through too for our own journey, but there's also a lot of wiggle room that we can rise above the stars.
It's
So,
interesting because I want to ask you about destiny. I've started thinking about destiny this year, and I've started feeling like there's certain things that I'm destined for.
yeah,
And I never really thought about that before.
yeah.
Do you feel like someone's vocation, for example, is a destined thing?
It could be. So I love this topic so much. I love soul contracts and free will and destiny. There are certain things that our soul said, this is what I want to accomplish. This is what I'm going to go in the direction. So there is a destiny, but at the same time, can we choose to be like, I'm checking out, I'm just don't want to do this? Sure, with some people, it could get really hard. And that's where people get very sick because they're going against. I got Lyme disease. I don't think that I was going against my pattern. I was literally living my best life before I got sick, but it also taught me so much. It brought me back in my body because I channel so much over here. And that was part of my lesson. It slowed me down in a way that my ego thought was stalling me, but I actually needed to be present in my body. So there's certain things that we go through. But yes, I believe we have a destiny. I'm not getting out of sharing this world. This is my destiny. Like, I'm going to tell you, I can't just go be an accountant. That's not going to work for me.
Hmm.
I'm probably going to get very sick. Something's going to happen. It's going to put me back on this path because I'm very clear that my destiny is to help evolve consciousness. And
Yeah.
that can come in any form. It could be astrology, it could be something else. I do believe there are certain things. And also, I do believe some people don't like to hear this, but from everything that I've gotten from spirit, and you can tell me what you believe about this, is there's no levels because that's ego, but the way I could see it is there's older souls and there's younger souls. And sometimes with
Hmm.
younger souls, there's more wiggle room to experiment, to play. And then
Hmm.
there's older souls where you have a contract, you came here. I know that even since I was a kid, I was like, oh my God, like what the fuck? I decided to come back. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God. And I
Yeah.
knew that there was something big that I was doing. To be honest, I haven't even tapped into where my career is going because they already told me around 50, that's when things are really going to take off. So I'm getting close to that. And I know that there's a destiny, there's a certain direction depending on our soul levels, really. There's no other way to say it. And it doesn't mean that one is better than the other because to be honest, my life hasn't been easy. It's been really hard. There's been so many times where I'm like, I literally cannot believe that I signed up for this and I cannot believe this keeps happening.
Sure.
But my soul knew that I could do this.
Hmm.
Listen, the fire, I was the only unit to burn in my whole entire area, my whole complex. I was living in Rick Caruso's in the village, so he had his own fire truck and my unit still burned. And when I saw that, I said, of course it did, because I knew that I was in for an awakening. And I said, okay, okay. Here
Hmm.
we go. I knew that my soul signed up for this because
Yeah.
I also actually had an exit point. before the fire, they showed me that I could put my stuff in storage, go to Egypt, then come back, save a couple months rent, and then get a new place. That was an option. And I chose this other place because I really wanted to live there. It was my dream place. Also, it sped up my soul contract because I went through in a year what could have taken 3, 4 years of consciousness. It was brutal and I'm still coming out of it, but I know that my soul chose that. That's what they told me.
Yeah,
So
so
there's,
empowering
yeah.
to say, I know I chose this. I know it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Everything's a phase, and I know that from the astrology lens. Yeah.
Yeah, and afterwards I was so pissed. I was still pissed because I lost everything. I lost all my stuff. I said, Spirit, are you serious? You know what they said? But it's funny because I use this in my forecast I just did as a meme. And people were saying it's in some TV show or movie. They said to me, because they like to joke with me, they go, but did you die? And I'm like, no. And they're like, you're good. They're like, no, we got you. And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, they got me. And I was like, oh my God, okay, you're right. Because they don't care. It's not they don't care. It doesn't, the stuff is not important.
Yeah.
You're going to buy new clothes. It's not
Yeah.
important to them.
My
It's
dad
not.
said, I did a men's panel. My dad came on. It was
Yeah.
right after the fires, and he said,
Oof.
literally everything that he gave away to people
Yeah.
is the only thing he retained,
Oh,
right?
wow.
The piece of pottery that he gave to my mom,
Yeah.
artwork of my sisters that he gave to
Wow.
me. Those are the
Yeah.
only things he has left.
Wow.
He was choosing to see it that way, and I thought that
Yeah.
was really beautiful.
That's so beautiful. I had to go through all the stages of grief. I was watching myself walk through them. So I'm like, this is good feedback for how to help someone else with trauma. The first week, I couldn't even send an email. I didn't even remember anything. I had the first 2 weeks, I had no memory. It was like everything was getting wiped because I was in such shock.
Yeah.
It was crazy to witness that. It taught me a lot how to deal with someone with that kind of shock trauma.
Yeah, and I'm sure that you've bonded with other people that went through
Yeah.
that at the same
Yeah.
time as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so one last thing is when I was younger, I got really obsessed with this thick astrology book that was all about the relationships of what your astrology was and
Oh,
what their astrology
yeah.
was. And
Yeah. Me
are we
too.
imagine every time I liked a boy, I'd be looking
Yeah.
it up,
Yeah. Yeah.
looking up.
Dolphin and Pisces looking for the soulmate. Yes. Yes.
So anything you feel like sharing about the ways in which we interact with our, do you believe in soulmates or
Yeah. So I'm
romance, how
actually,
that
my
works?
book that I'm writing is on soulmates
Okay.
and love because I've had a lot of experience with it that has not been fun. And so I've learned a lot of lessons in it. I do believe in soulmates. We have many soulmates and they come in all different forms. And I believe that there's no Taurus can't be with a Leo or Leo can't be with a Pisces. None of that stuff is true. It's based on the entire chart. First of all, your chart, what your soul wants, how you're wired, how you want love. Then their chart, how they want love. Then you put it
Mm,
together and also how you communicate and how they communicate. And then
mm,
you put it together and then you see how is this interlocking? How is this connecting? And here's the thing. I've seen people in relationships that their charts are like, whoa, there's a lot of tension. It works for them and they love it. And I've seen
okay.
people, I've met this one guy a long time ago. We just kept running into each other everywhere. And we were both like, okay, we like, universe, he was spiritual too. Universe wants us to meet. We tried to date. It didn't really work. He kind of drove me crazy. He was a Pisces. We were very clear that we had a strong connection. And when I
Yeah.
put our charts together, it was actually really beautiful energy of like when you read in the books, the astrology books of like husband, wife, marriage. But I'm like, I can't stand him. Do you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't what I wanted, and it probably wasn't what he wanted, but there was a flow because our souls know each other. So
Mm,
it's layered and it's complex. It's called synastry to put two charts together. And then you have a composite chart where it says, when we take our charts together, what's this third entity? Like, what do we create together? So
yeah.
it's really beautiful. And I love it because it can help people communicate. If I see two people's Mercury squaring each other, it doesn't mean that they can't be together. It's just being like, okay, we're going to have to work on our communication because you guys might love each other, but you're still speaking different languages. So let's learn each other's language so that we can work together. There's no like you can't be with someone you can. It just depends on what you want at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like the certain relationships are meant to be those life
Yeah.
lessons. Of course, like past lives maybe you've had together. Like you
Yes.
were the mother, he was the son, it's
Totally.
like,
Yeah.
so you're finishing something. Beautiful. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for all of this.
Thank you. You
I
asked
really
amazing
appreciate it. Oh,
questions. I
thank
loved
you.
it so much. Yeah. Thank you.
So, guys who are listening, if you have any questions, if anything piqued your interest, if you want to know more, you can get in touch. All the links will be in the show notes. You can ask Danielle. I think you can get a private reading with her. Yeah.
I do them every once in a while. I pop
Okay.
them up. Yeah. But right now I have my GPT that I made. It's called The Stars Explained. So that could also help people because my price point's a little higher. So it's I'm here for all. We can reach everyone, so
Okay,
no one's left out.
so if they don't want to spend a lot of money and
Yeah,
they just want to have access to that, they
yeah,
can use that.
yeah,
That's brilliant.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, well, thank you guys. Keep expanding your capacity to feel good, one breath at a time. Loving you, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, Danielle. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.